What's good, YouTube? It's Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, coming to y'all with another video. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Also, check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. If you want a t-shirt, you can message me on Facebook. I got different type of logos and images. You can get any color shirt, or you can change the logo on the shirt. Just message me on Facebook if you're interested. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, coming to y'all with a quick video. Today we're going to talk about the San Antonio Spurs. After seeing some lists, a lot of people have the Spurs barely or not in the playoffs, and I'm looking like, this is like the same story. This team has made the playoffs for the last 20 plus seasons, and teams and coaches, GMs, and also mostly importantly the media continue to sleep on the Spurs. Now, they may not win a championship because you have the Golden State Warrior with 5 All-Stars on one roster: Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and DeMarcus Cousins. It's going to be difficult for anybody in NBA history to beat that team. So are they going to win a championship? No. But if you're considering that the NBA playoffs is going to be harder to make because you have the teams that made the playoffs last year, plus you add Denver in the mix. LA has come up. Dallas add DeAndre Jordan, Luka Doncic. They expect it to be better. The Timberwolves, they get a season. Hopefully they can stay healthy. Most importantly, Jimmy Butler. But other than that, the West will be difficult to make the playoffs. But you can't count on Greg Popovich. One thing I would say is he has the stars. He has 2 All-NBA players last year. DeMar DeRozan, a lot of people don't realize that or forgot, he was an NBA All-NBA team for the last 2 years. Last year he averaged 27. This year he averaged 23 and 5 assists, and he was All-NBA. Kawhi Leonard missed so many games that LaMarcus became an all-star because they had to utilize him a lot more, run the offense through him, and they relied on him a lot more. He was an all-star. He was an all-NBA player. So they might not have the top 5 players that a team like Golden State or Houston might have, but them only a rare anomaly. And even if you think about Philly, even if you think about Boston having some of those big players on one roster, those teams are in the East. And this team is in the West. They have good role players that can play: Marco Bellinelli, Dante Cunningham, Paul Gasol, Brian Forbes, Rudy Gay, Patty Mills. Jakob Poeltl can play. Lonnie Walker is going to be a solid player, especially if they get major injuries. They have a guy that can come in and produce later in the season as they slow the game and help them understand the game. Coach Pop is one of the hardest coaches to play for because he is demanding and he wants you to succeed. He has your best interest and the team best interest. It's not all about Greg Popovich. He gets a lot of praise, as he should, because he has been able to win. He has been able to reinvent the team, and he has been able to win multiple championships with the San Antonio Spurs. But in general, he has 5 championships. That's one of the best, most successful franchises in NBA history. And he has an opportunity to still win more depending on what happens with Golden State. And the Western Conference is going to be tough. I don't expect this San Antonio team to win a championship, but I think that they have the size, they have the shooting, they have the stars, they have the coach to get the best and put them in positions to be successful. Why can't the San Antonio Spurs make the playoffs? Like, this team won 47 games and Kawhi Leonard only played 8 of them. In the 8 games that Kawhi Leonard played, he didn't even average 20 points on majority of those games. He didn't dominate in any of those games. So they really didn't have Kawhi Leonard at all because he played off the bench. And when he did play, he wasn't the same Kawhi Leonard offensively that he was last year. Last season, at the end of the day, they barely made the playoffs. They hung on to a spot. They was one of the last teams to lock into their spot. They got destroyed by Golden State, but they add a guy in DeMar DeRozan, a guy that can create his own shot and create shots for others, and they have the floor spacing that you can surround DeMar DeRozan with. He's basically an automatic bucket, especially in the regular season, which we're talking about. We're not talking about the playoffs. We're talking about, can they make the playoffs, and that has to do with winning games in the regular season. Now, they blew a lot of games to a lot of bad teams. That was one of the things. The Spurs couldn't really beat the great teams, and they fed a lot on the bad teams. But you have to do that. If you want to make the playoffs, you have to beat the bad teams. And the NBA teams are getting better. They are getting more stacked. But it's hard to outcoach Popovich,
especially when he has the type of talent that he has on his roster. Now, they might not have the most mind-popping names. They might not have the names that you say, oh my God, they made this trade, or oh my God, they signed this free agent. Probably the biggest name they signed was LaMarcus Aldridge, but other than that, it was probably who? Paul Gasol or Rudy Gay, but that was an old Paul Gasol and a beat up, torn up Rudy Gay. Those were the biggest names that they have been able to get, but they still won 60 games last year, and they was able to win last season 47 games. So Rudy Gay being the biggest name free agent that they had. Now, of course, they expected Kawhi Leonard to be healthy, and if they was able to win 47 games with him playing 8, just imagine how many games they could have won if he would have played more. Plus, you add on the fact that he is a closer. He's one of the best defenders, and he made big plays in the fourth quarter as a two-way player. And he's another ball handler and another person that can take the weight and the load off LaMarcus Aldridge by him handling the ball and him taking shots. And he makes LaMarcus Aldridge's job a little easier. Now, I think LaMarcus will fit better with DeMar because DeMar played with guys like Jonas Valanciunas and Serge Ibaka, guys that like to hit that mid-range jumper, that likes to play in the pick and roll, that likes to pop, that likes to dive slowly and finish or get contact, and he can throw the ball into the post and let LaMarcus work in the post, get that fadeaway, get some post-ups, and get to the free throw line. Now, he already has experience playing with those people, but Pop is going to space out that floor and get everybody touching the ball. And I feel like that's the most important thing because DeMar DeRozan, what did he do best last year? He passed the ball and kept his teammates involved instead of him being a ball hog and keep scoring and taking all these tough shots. He decided, hey, I'm going to cut down on my scoring and helping my teammates get easier shots. Plus, I'm going to use my ability to create my own shot, to create shots for others, and make my teammates better. Now, that's the thing that he's going to get even more enhanced with Greg Popovich. Not only is he going to get better shots and easier shots because Greg Popovich's system allows players to do that, but he also can make shots easier because now he knows to buy into that team concept. And as they have this meeting, as they talk, as they have preseason training camp and gets prepared for the regular season and he get acclimated with his teammates, he should be able to know where they like to be. He should know the plays, and he has another starter to take that load off, which is LaMarcus Aldridge. But they have quality role players. They might not be the biggest names, but these players can really play and excel in those roles, and they can shoot and move that ball. Everybody on the San Antonio team is a weapon because they all have that particular skill set in those areas that Popovich put them in, making it a threat. You can't leave Patty Mills open. You don't want LaMarcus Aldridge open in the mid-range. You don't want Paul Gasol in that mid-range to low post. So the positions and the spacing makes this team hard because remember, DeMar likes to get to the basket, get them floaters, get those dunks. He likes to create that space and knock down that jumper. Just imagine what he's going to do with LaMarcus Aldridge. Now, LaMarcus isn't the same player. He isn't as dominant as he was in Portland, but his game ages gracefully because he's not really he doesn't really use athleticism. He's not really going to blow past you and do all these crazy athletic things, but he never did in his career, and he's been able to maintain as one of the better players in the league. Now, he did need a guy like DeMar DeRozan because everybody focused and keyed in on LaMarcus because he was the star player. You wasn't scared of anybody else killing you off the dribble. Manu Ginobili had a couple good games. Rudy Gay had a couple good games. But it was nobody, even like Kyle Anderson was even utilized a lot more. DeJounte Murray was trying to up his game. But nobody really scared you as a ball handler. And now you have a multiple-time All-NBA and All-Star guy in DeMar DeRozan that can get you 20 to 25 points plus any given game. And the fact that he's a hard worker. He's loyal, but he likes to put the work in. He has gotten better, smarter, and wiser every season. He has improved his free throw percentage. He has improved his field goal percentage. He has improved his assist numbers. Last thing he got to add is efficiency to get his efficiency up in the playoffs. Particularly, his playoff play has been bad, but Greg Popovich is going to give him better shots and help him understand the game a lot better. But once he gets to his three-point shots, something that he took more of last year, and he was able to knock them down at a bad rate, but that was better than his other couple years, he's going to be a guy that wants to prove himself. You got rid of me. Everybody said Kawhi Leonard was the better player. Everybody said it was a good trade for Toronto because they got the best player in the deal. I want to prove that I can play. I want to prove that I can win. I want to prove things, and I think DeMar DeRozan, as I said, he's consistently got better every year and added something to his game. I think he's going to take this 3-point thing serious. I think he's going to take playing with the Spurs more serious because they wanted him. They wanted him to be a part of the team. They welcomed him in. They're a loyal franchise, and I think that they want what's best for their team, but also what's best for DeMar. This team just got rid of you because they felt like another guy was better and he can get them further. That should eat at you. That should make you frustrated and mad. And DeMar DeRozan is a guy that, can take that as like that. And I'm looking forward to the Spurs, especially when I see that people are counting them out and predicting them to not make the playoffs. I think that's something that they have always went against, as I open up the video, but that's something that they always prove was false. Greg Popovich knows how to utilize and get the best out of his players, and he knows how to help his team get in those predicaments where they can close and win games on both sides of the floor. There's going to be a lot of inexperienced teams. There's going to be a lot of teams with bad defense, and they're going to exploit those weaknesses and pick up ticky-tacky W's that's going to get them enough to even get, to the first round. And who knows who they play? I can't predict because I don't know injuries. I don't know trades by the trade deadline. But as of right now, when I look at the roster, I look at the stars, I look at the coach, I look at the role players, and I look at the skill set these players have and how they can possibly fit in with this DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge duo. I think this team is going to be special. I don't think they're going to be the number one team in the West. I don't think that they are going to be. I feel like they're going to overachieve. I think they're going to do more than what people think. I think they're going to be more successful than a lot of fans think. And I think that the San Antonio fans, they already know how the game go. So I think they're going to be expecting 50 wins. Now, that's saying a lot for this team, but I'm going to be real. I do feel like the San Antonio Spurs can creep in, get 51, 52 wins. If everybody stays healthy and plays enough games. Now, that you can say that about any team, but I think Greg Popovich done showed you over the course of the years and losing his superstar player in Kawhi Leonard and still being able to win a game against the Golden State Warriors and still be able to get to the playoffs, showing that, hey, I can find a way to help this team win games just by out-coaching, mismatching, and putting my players in the best available spots to succeed, which gives us a better chance of winning, especially that you have to play the good, the bad, and the ugly in the regular season. And I feel like DeMar DeRozan is going to be hungry. He's going to want to prove himself, and he's going to want to go out there and prove that, hey, this is why the Spurs wanted me. I am one of the best players in the league. I've seen some people put him in that top 10, top 15 range. So that means he's still growing. He's still getting better. And he has a coach that's going to push him to the limits. He has a coach that's going to force him to get the best out of himself. And we might see a new, improved, and hungrier DeMar DeRozan. I'm not saying he never was hungry, but I feel like after this trade, after getting hurt, and after seeing that nobody thought that he was even on the level of Kawhi Leonard, I feel like we're going to see a more hungrier DeMar DeRozan, and I think he's going to go out there in the first 2 months and just let everybody know it's time. They might not win the championship. They might get out of the first round depending on the matchup and depending on who they play. But, with Greg Popovich and having a guy like DeMar DeRozan, this team is going to be tough to guard and tough to score on, and that might be enough to grind them 50 wins at least. And that's a guaranteed playoff spot in the West. This is going to be a bloodbath in the West. It's going to be very tough. Injuries are really going to be a big key to who makes it and who doesn't make it because the margin of error is so thin that you can't really afford to have those things happen because 42, 43 wins might not be enough. And even if it is, that means teams with 41 and below are barely going to make the playoffs or not going to make the playoffs. And those are pretty good records, especially compared to the East. Now, they're going to eat and feast on the East, but they're going to really have to fight it and knock each other out for those 8 spots in the West. And I think the San Antonio Spurs are being slept on, being underrated, and that's something that they've been for the last 5 to 6 years. And this is something that the fans already know, and this is something I know as an analyst. At the end of the day, I think the Spurs are going to get it done. They're going to find a way to win. They're going to find a way to get these W's. And we shall see when the season starts who's going to be them top 8 seeds. But I can guarantee you probably the Spurs will be one of them. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page. Like on Facebook to show support. Analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. check out if you want a t-shirt. I got multiple t-shirts on my Facebook page. Message me if you want a t-shirt, and I can get you one sent out. I take PayPal too, so it's fair, and I can give you the receipt, and I can prove that I shipped it with the shipping code. So if you want a t-shirt, you want to support the movement, like on Facebook and buy a t-shirt. Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis, I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think. Will they make the playoffs? Will they miss the playoffs? Or will they underrated? Or are they going to overachieve? Or are they just going to be a middle team in the Western Conference? Let me know what you guys think. I'm gone.